For what, 30 years, this idea of the London premium has been the bedrock of UK investing.
Absolutely, the one golden rule.
The assumption was just ironclad. You buy in London, your property value goes up. End of story.
But when you look at the 2025 data, that bedrock isn't just cracking.
It's crumbled in places.
Yeah.
We're doing this deep dive because nearly 15%, 14.8% to be exact, of Londoners who sold last year actually lost money.
That number is just staggering. It means London has officially, taken over from the Northeast as the place where you're most likely to sell at a loss.
It flips the entire map on its head. And it's not some one-year blip, is it?
Not at all. If you zoom out, since 2015, the UK average for property growth was, what, 44%?
Yeah, 44%. London scraped by with just 16%. That is a huge gap.
It is, but we have to be really specific here. We can't paint the whole city with one brush. The data points to one a very specific culprit.
The flat factor.
Exactly, the flat factor.
This is where the dream disconnects from the reality, right?
Hmm.
You picture a nice Victorian terrace appreciating, but the actual market.
The volume.
The volume is flats and maisonettes. They made up 60% of all sales last year.
And that particular type of property has, well, it's almost become toxic for sellers. While houses held their value, flat prices actually fell by 8% between mid-2022 and late 2025.
So if you bought a new build flat back in 2015, you've lost money for a decade in real terms. It's no wonder people are nervous.
Well, this is where the smart money starts to look right. When sentiment is this bad, you have to look at the forecast.
Okay, so what are the big firms, like Savills, saying for 2026?
They're essentially calling 2026 the bottom of the curve. They predict prices will flatline this year.
Just flat.
And in prime central London, your Mayfair, your Knightsbridge, they actually see another small dip, maybe 2%.
But that's just the short term. What happens after 2026?
That's where it shifts. The projection is for about 13.6% cumulative growth between 2027 and 2030.
So we could be looking at a very, very narrow window here, a buying opportunity before that rebound hypothetically kicks in next year.
Theoretically, yes. And Zoopla isn't tipping the center for that growth. They're looking at the outer boroughs.
The commuter spots.
Exactly. Your Sutton, Uxbridge, Ilford, Bromley, Croydon, places where there's still a bit of value to be found.
What's so fascinating, though, is the tension between who is selling and who is buying. You'd think landlords would be snapping these up.
You would, but domestic landlords are actually getting out.
Why?
Well, rent growth slowed down to just 2.1% in 2025, but the real pressure is regulatory. Things like the Renters' Rights Act are making the numbers much harder to stack up for your average buy-to-let investor.
So the locals are selling.
Mm-hmm.
And yet, international demand hasn't even blinked. London is still the #1 target for wealthy Gulf investors.
Ahead of New York and Paris.
It's that brand power, isn't it?
It is. For that kind of investor, they aren't just looking for explosive growth right now. They're looking at yields.
The annual return from rent.
And right now, London yields are sitting between 5 and 6%.
Which, in this economy, is a pretty stable, inflation-beating place to just park your cash.
That's it. It tells you London isn't one market anymore, it's two. You have the domestic market, which is struggling, and then you have this international investment market.
So the bottom line is the boom is over, for now, but the bust is very, very specific to certain properties.
It's highly concentrated, yeah.
Which leaves us with a really tough question for anyone thinking of buying. We have flats that are depreciating, while the city itself is still this major global hub.
Right.
So are we seeing a permanent cultural shift? Do people just not want to live in apartments anymore?
Or is it the other way around? Is the humble London flat right now the single most undervalued asset in the entire UK?
A dangerous gamble or the sale of the century? Well, let's see what 2026 brings. Thanks for listening.